What up, yo?
A ghost.
A ghost.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Power Up Podcast. How you guys doing today on this Tuesday? We tried to play some Mega Man yesterday, but we were having some dropped frame issues. Don't know why, so hopefully we are good in terms of that. What's up, Manga over on YouTube? Today we are on YouTube, Rumble, and X, doing Power Up Podcast, taking a look at pop culture, what's happening in the news. What I titled the stream, a lot of people passing away. Robert Duvall and the name, I should know what it is because it's the name of the stream, but it's slipping my mind. Shutaro, Iida has passed away. My goodness gracious. But oh, crap. Oh, no. I think we're... actually, hold on. Just could be the... Oh, I know why. I was like, my lighting looks weird. It's because I didn't turn on the lights all the way. There you go. There we go. Now we're looking good. But we take a look at what's happening in pop culture, keeping ourselves sharp and up to date. Like I said, we were trying to play Mega Man yesterday. Frames were crapping out, so we'll try to do that tomorrow. And hopefully maybe start up another game. Like I said, the afternoon streams are probably not going to happen anymore because we're working full time. But you never know, depending, what takes place and when I get done. But yeah, we've got that. We've got news on Don Lemons. Remember that when he straight up, joined that retarded group and they went to that church. So we've got some of that. We've got some video game, some anime, and some cool games that are starting to come out here. So let's hop into it, shall we? If you enjoy the stream, like and subscribe. If you don't, you can dislike and not subscribe. Doesn't matter. Feel free to leave comments below on what you think about the news articles. But yeah, let's hop into it, shall we? Well, bam. Okay, good. I was going to be like, dude, I had this set up. Like, give me a break. But it's just not loading. Actually, you know what? Let me check something real quick. It's never mind. Okay. Never mind. So, we're starting off strong with that Park Place. So, Don Lemons pleads not guilty in church charges case tied to Minnesota protest. So he's the former CNN host Don Lemon has formally pleaded not guilty to charges in federal court as the legal fallout continues from the now viral storming of a Minnesota church tied with anti-ICE protest, a case that is quickly escalating beyond a simple trespassing dispute into broader legal battle over religious freedom, activism, and press protection. And a lot of people, when this happened, were pointing out the KKK Act, as it's called. And they clearly violated it, like 100% easy. This is mentioning the FACE Act. I thought it was also the KKK Act because everyone was like talking about the irony of it. Lemons was arraigned Friday in connection to the incident at St. Paul's City Church, where agitators disrupted a religious service while live streaming accusations that the church's pastor has cooperated with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Federal prosecutors have charged Lemon with conspiracy to deprive religious freedom rights, along with violations tied to the Federal FACE Act, a statute that carries potential fines and prison time if intimidation or obstruction occur at a place of worship. And yes, this definitely is something that was very frustrating to me because, one, it's a church. Like, it just goes to show, like, the demons out there doesn't matter. Place of worship, whatever. They hate God. They're going to infiltrate it all, disrupt everything, all that stuff. And Lemon's just trying to be like, oh, I have a camera. That means I'm a journalist. It's like, dude, that ain't going to work. One of the more immediate flashpoints in the Don Lemon church charges case centers on Lemon's cell phone, which was seized during his arrest and remains in federal custody. Ooh, I wonder. Oh, I wonder what like juicy stuff is on that. Probably like some of the gayest shit ever, literally, because he's a fruit. His legal team pushed the court to have the device returned, and the presiding judge indicated he expects the government to do exactly that once it's no longer needed. I will require that if Mr. Lemon's phone has been seized and is no longer evidentiary value, that it will be returned, the judge said. Prosecutors responded that the phone is currently in the custody of the Department of Homeland Security, and that while a search warrant has been obtained, the forensic review is still ongoing, meaning the device will not be handed back. Good. The evidentiary tug of war could become significant given Lemon's claims that he was operating strictly as a journalist during the incident, even though, like, he terribly worded the fact of, like, saying the exact opposite. Lemon has repeatedly insisted he was documenting events, not participating in them, framing his presence inside the church as protected news gathering activity, and yet he knew exactly when and where they would do it. Huh. But his own past remarks about the protests are now being scrutinized. While live streaming the invasion, Lemon described the operation in activist terms. You have to be willing to go into places and disrupt and make people uncomfortable, he said. That's what this country is about. Ho ho! Ooh. That quote, now circulating widely in legal and media circles, could complicate his defense that he was merely observing rather than encouraging the confrontation. Yeah, again, like he just knew. He just happened to know. I felt it in my bones today that like an ICE protest is going to take place at a church. Better get my camera and have it ready to go. You know, yeah, whatever. No one's buying that bullshit. So according to a federal affidavit, the church disruption went far beyond peaceful protests. Investigators allege agitators intimidated. They did, because you can clearly see it on video. Harassed. They did. Oppressed and terrorized the parishioners, including young children, and caused the service to be cut short. Yeah, and you can just watch the video. Clearly it all happened. Churchgoers told law enforcement that some parents were unable to reach their children in a downstairs childcare area because protesters blocked stairwells. Yeah, bunch of scumbags, dude. Others reported fearing agitators might be armed and said aisles were obstructed, making it difficult to exit the sanctuary. Yeah, which is sad too, because a lot of churches now have to have armed security, because we've seen footage of it. There was an incident, I think down here in Texas, where the guy came in with a shotgun, took out some guy, and then as he was trying to dip, the security guard, no-scoped him in the face and stopped that guy in his tracks. Unfortunately, the damage was already done, and one can only react to a situation. Those details underpin the government's argument that the protest crossed the line into criminal interference with religious worship. Lemon frames case at First Amendment fight. Despite the charges, Lemon has struck a defiant tone publicly, casting the prosecution as an attack on press freedom rather than a response to protest activity. So you can watch it right here. He even says here on his live stream, he is a slimy limey though. Stated, people need to feel terrified. This is what protesting is all about. I mean, these people don't seem to understand the amount of restraint the right has and whatnot. Because if that is dropped and we're just like, all right, if you want to fight fire with fire, we most certainly can. These people would be crushed immediately. They're weak. They're spineless. They're pathetic. So another quote that he was saying, I believe this is bigger than me. This is about the First Amendment and freedom of the press. Lemon told viewers ahead of his court appearance. His legal team is expected to lean heavily on that argument moving forward. particularly as they prepare motions tied to grand jury proceedings and evidentiary disputes. He entered the courthouse alongside his attorneys and flashed peace signs to photographers, signaling a level of public confidence despite the seriousness of the charges. He is being represented by high-profile defense lawyers, and prosecutors did not seek pretrial detention. The court instead imposed standard release conditions while the case proceeds. Lemon was arraigned alongside multiple activists accused of helping organize a church takeover. All defendants pleaded not guilty. Beyond the courtroom, the incident has already fueled national debate over active journalism, religious liberty, and the boundaries of protest inside a house of worship. Lemon's media profile has arguably grown since the arrest, with increased social media traction, high visibility appearances, and continued streaming of his independent show, but the legal risk remains significant. If convicted under federal statutes tied to religious freedom violations, the penalty could extend well beyond fines, placing real stakes on whether the court views Lemon as a journalist or a participant. Yeah, he's a participant, and he should face prison time along with the other douchebags. Here you go, Rebel Wood. Here are his 4 points. He met up with the retards before they even showed up at the church. He knew the retard in charge. He started to debate the Christians in there. Missed importantly, I think that's supposed to say most importantly, he was told to leave and did it. If all these retards left when told, it wouldn't have been a crime. Now it's trespassing, and Donnie will love prison since he will be getting fucked hard by a black cock. Oh my goodness. A lot of gay jokes in the comments. He's as queer as the day is long. I'm sure this masochist has dreamt of the day he would be thrown into prison with all the sadist inmates. Want to bet he accidentally drops the soda every time he hits the shower? Dude, going ham. So this was a Valentine's Day article. So we're a little far behind. Valentine's Day was over the weekend. So, but still pretty funny, pretty hilarious. Yeah, I really hope this guy loses, because it'll send a message to all these other journalists out there that you can't just throw a camera in someone's face and say, well, I'm a journalist, especially when it seems very, very likely, and I think it is true, that like exactly what the one guy pointed out, you knew all this stuff was happening. It's not like it was just like, oh, what's happening over here? Better get my camera. But yeah, hope he loses. Fuck him. All right, next on the old agenda. So the Steam Deck. Apparently, Valve's Steam Deck is the latest victim of RAM shortages, and Sony's PS6, gasp, could be next. What is this, Fandom Wire? So it's possible the RAM and storage chips shortages may cause Valve's Steam Deck OLED to go out of stock intermittently. Guess what? Sony's PS6 could be next. So, talked on the past show a couple times about how there's definitely a RAM and memory shortage. Oh. Excuse me. My goodness gracious. Must have been a long day. RAM and memory shortage across the globe are causing distress to gamers. Valve says its Steam Deck OLED model may remain intermittently out of stock due to this. The news comes after developers announced it through the official Steam Deck website. This isn't the only game device recently affected by the memory shortage, though. Sony's PlayStation 6 may be a victim of this too, as AI data centers are eating up all the memory chips in the market. What started as a premium issue of PC users has now become a nightmare for all gamers. Let's see where the madness leads, and as game giants fight over a short supply of RAM and storage just to produce a limited amount of consoles. So Valve offers 3 Steam Deck handhelds to buyers. a 256 gigabyte LCD, a 512 gigabyte OLED, and a 1 terabyte OLED. Out of these 3 variants, the OLED version is reported to be out of stock in some regions due to the RAM and storage shortage. While both OLED models are out of stock in the US, the 1 terabyte one is still available in certain regions. Apart from the above, the 256 LCD variant's production has officially ended too, after the existing stock in the market is sold out. The said variant will no longer be available for purchase on the official store page. That said, the remaining OLED Steam Deck models are the only ones prospective buyers can go after. Valve looks to be in a deep production crisis as they are failing to produce enough stock of Steam Decks to cater to the market. On the other hand, memory shortages might also cause them to delay their plans for the upcoming Steam machine. Man, I should have chugged some energy drink or something. Jeez, even though I've already had one today. On the other hand, memory shortages may also cause them to delay. Okay. Although Valve is still optimistic about releasing the new hardware in the first half of 2026, they are currently forced to, quote, revisit their release plans and try to figure out the best way to tackle this shortage. And a recent report from the Bloomberg suggests that Sony Group Core could be pushing the release of its next console, which is the PS6, to 2028 or 2029. Since the big companies like Alphabet and OpenAI are buying up large chunks of memory chips to build AI data centers, companies like Sony have to wait in line to buy the remaining stocks. This has led to a drastic reduction in production for all their existing and future console models. Due to a shortage of memory chips, fans will have to stick to their PS5 consoles for a little longer. Well, that's fine because I just grabbed mine and I'm been playing it every chance I get, despite there not being a big game library. I think we have another article. Yeah, here, coming for Tech for Gamers, expanding on the storage and RAM. Apparently, Western Digital has run out of HDD supply amid AI demands, and the price expected to surge. So the AI boom has created a really unfortunate situation in which PC components prices are surging to levels never seen before. RAMs, SSDs, and GPUs have already been affected, but hard drives could soon experience massive price hikes as well. Western Digital, one of the largest HDD manufacturers, has stated that it has run out of supply and that all orders are booked for this year. This is expected to lead to price increments with HDDs soon. And at this point, no PC component seems to be regularly priced. This has created a major crisis that isn't expected to go away until demand and supply reaches equilibrium. Starring Christian Bale. So in the latest earnings call, Western Digital CEO Irving Tan was asked about the memory situation, how it is affecting HDDs, to which he replied that all of Western Drive's HDD stock has been sold to AI data centers. Pretty much sold out for the calendar 26. We have firm POs with our top 7 customers, and we'll also establish LTAs with the 2 of them for calendar years 2027, one of them for calendar year 28. The worrying sign is that the company is fully booked for 2026, but some of its agreements extend to 2027 and even 2028, signaling that the shortage could last longer than expected. Holy shit, dude. Oh, man. I should have just taken a nap, apparently. So things aren't getting any better. HDD prices have already seen a somewhat of a hike. You mean have already seen somewhat of a hike. I don't think you need that other A in there. Although it isn't as significant as SSD or RAM. However, since the large manufacturer is fully booked for the year, we could see price surges even higher in the future. These AI data centers are out of control. Yeah, absolutely insane. I think it's Western Digital. I might have said Western Drives earlier. Yeah, it's getting to be ridiculous because at this point you would think that it would kind of would have been expected because AI was majorly surging. But yeah, they tell you to take it so seriously and then they don't think about the supply and demand of it as well, or they completely misjudged it. So, but it's getting ridiculous. Oh, this is what I had too. Video Game Chronicle also had Sony, an article talking about Sony holding out till 2028 or even 29 for the PlayStation 6. Because again, it's saying the upcoming bottleneck of memory production will cause huge ramifications across the tech industry. Dubbing it Ramageddon, the article asks numerous tech analysts on their views on the ongoing increase in RAM prices, surge mainly attributed to AI data centers buying up huge quantities of it, making supplies scarce. Noting that Apple, Tesla, and at least a dozen other major corporations have warned that the shortage of memory will constrain production in the future, the article claims that Sony and Nintendo are planning on acting accordingly. Citing sources familiar with Sony's strategic thinking, the article claims that Sony Group Core is now considering pushing back the debut of its console to 2028 or even 2029. Also claims that Nintendo is considering raising the prices of Switch 2 later this year. Neither Sony nor Nintendo responded to requests for comment on Bloomberg's article. The article insists that the RAM shortage issue is not going to be resolved anytime soon, quoting Lenovo CEO Yang King as saying the structural imbalance between supply and demand is not simply a short-term fluctuation. Tim Archer, CEO of chip equipment supplier Lam Research Corp, reportedly told attendants at a conference in South Korea earlier this month, "We stand at the cups of something that is bigger than anything we faced before. What is ahead of us between now and the end of the decades in terms of demand is bigger than anything we've seen in the past, and in fact will overwhelm all other sources of demand." While in the past, console prices have tended to drop over the course of a generation, the trend has changed this year with Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo all increasing the prices of their system over time. Sony previously increased the prices of the PS5 in select regions of 2022 in August, then in April 2025, and then doing the same again in the US of August 2022. Luckily, I got mine during Christmas when it was on sale. Last year, Nintendo held fire on Switch 2 pre-orders in the US due to economic uncertainty in the region, including tariffs set by the US president, before eventually announcing that while the console itself would not see a price increase at launch, some accessories would. Like, it sounds like a lot of these places have like deals set up for the RAM people, but couldn't like the manufacturers just be like, "Yeah, we're a company that's working with AI and we need to buy all your RAMs." I mean, they're not going to do it, but it'd be pretty fun if they're just like, nah, we're not going to sell to you. We'll sell it to the average Joe." But then again, the company could just go out and then snag them up then, so whatever. Nintendo Switch 2 accessories will experience price adjustments from those announced in April 2nd, 2025, due to changes in market conditions. It said at the time other adjustments to the price of any Nintendo product are also possible in the future depending on market conditions. This came to pass in August when Nintendo announced that it was increasing the price of just the original Switch console in the US due to, quote, marketing conditions. From $299 to $339, the OLED version to $399 from $349, and the Switch Lite to $229 from $199. Earlier this month, Nintendo President Shutaro Furukawa said there are still no plans to increase the price of the Switch 2 due to the increasing cost of memory, but this could change if the situation isn't resolved. Furukawa explained that Nintendo was having discussions with its suppliers to ensure a stable supply of components in the long term. He added that the recent surge in memory prices didn't significantly impact on its hardware profitability during the third quarter of its financial year. That would be October to December 2025, and he doesn't expect a significant impact in the fourth quarter either. He noted, however, that should the surge in price continue into the next financial year and beyond, could eventually have an impact on the profitability, and that should the situation deteriorate significantly, the company will assess the market and take appropriate measures. While AI is here, it is insane, and indeed how much crap they're snagging up just for AI by itself. It is moving rapidly. So we all knew it. But Sophia Turner has declared that her, keyword her, Lara Croft, won't be a, quote, sex bombshell. So she's doing little ease to the minds of some concerned Tomb Raider fans, because in an interview with the Los Angeles Times, the star who will play Lara Croft in Amazon's MGM Studios' upcoming live-action series said she will not portray the character as a, quote, sex bombshell. The comment has intensified debate within the Tomb Raider community about whether the new series from creator Phoebe Waller-Bridge, I mean, there's the kiss of death right there, will remain faithful to the spirit of the games. Oh, it will certainly not. Since her debut in 1996, Lara Croft has been defined by a blend of sexual appeal. Well, sexual appeal, sex appeal. But, people have taken it further. Athleticism and lethal competence, traits that together shaped one of the gaming's most recognizable icons. Actors often speak about how a costume informs performance. While Lara Croft, whose tank top, shorts, and twin pistols became instantly recognizable, image has always been certain to a character's mythology. Over the years, however, she has also developed a distinct personality that fans have come to expect. The character has appeared in 2 other live-action films, as well as comic books and animated series, one of them being This Abomination from Netflix. So in her interview, Turner drew a sharp contrast between Lara Croft from the Amazon series and Lara Croft in the games. It's about her and her story and what drives her rather than what so many people also love about her, which is how hot she is in the games and the movies, she said. But I really want to show the other side. She's so unashamedly capable. She's not a woman who hides her strength at all. Literally makes no sense, because that's literally what happens in the game. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. In the OG, she never hid her strengths. Are you kidding me? It's the fact that she's a sex icon, that she has huge tits, and she's hot. That's the problem. Because these people hate feminine beauty. And that's why they kind of double back with Sophia Turner has some feminine features to her. It's like, yeah, but she ain't Lara Croft. I'm sorry. It's not her. You can literally find tons of people who could be better than Sophia Turner. You just chose not to because you need that strong woman power. Image versus identity. From the start, Turner's look in the role has raised concern among gamers. The first promotional images show Turner in Lara Croft's additional outfit, but some fans felt the actress did not fully embody the character. YouTuber The Critical Drinker said, "They've definitely got the outfit down, so props from them. Props for that one at least. But all I'm seeing is some random actress cosplaying as Lara." Yep. It's exactly what it is. Cosplaying. More backlash erupted. And I've seen cosplayers that are better. They have better outfits than that. That's the funny thing. More backlash erupted with the release of the first production images from the show. Rather than showing Lara Croft in her traditional shorts and tank top, the new on-set image has Turner in tactical gear, a blue vest, gray pants, long sleeves, and combat boots. And the outfit didn't even look good in general. That's what I was annoyed about. And I'm not one for fashion. Never cared about it. Never did. I will always, rock the 90s, 2000 era where jeans and a t-shirt and a hoodie and a hat, and we're good to go. Or no hat. It doesn't matter. But, her I called her Campground Croft because she straight up looked like she just came from like campground, like a campground gone hiking. What's up, the Nintendo DS collector over on YouTube? It just didn't look good. Like they're trying to label it as tactical gear. I got more of a camping vibe than a tactical vibe. Now Turner is offering insight that goes beyond Lara Croft's look and into how she is approaching the character, and she's probably approaching it wrong. Angelina Jolie was the first to bring Lara Croft to life in a pair of 2000s action films. Both were commercially successful and seemed to balance sex appeal and spectacle while still maintaining the center core of a strong and capable woman. Jolie's portrayal reflected the heightened action aesthetic of the early 2000s when stylized spectacle dominated the genre. Jolie's costume wasn't a perfect replica of the game, but the films leaned into the stylized fantasy that defined early Tomb Raider. As the heart of the character, however, has always been a larger question. Or at the heart of the character, however, has always been a larger question. What makes Lara Croft iconic beyond the label of a sex bombshell? 2018 attempt to revive the franchise starred Alicia Vikander, which I heard just failed, in a Lara Croft original story inspired by the 2013 game reboot. Both featured a more grounded version of the character, suggesting a gradual evolution of Lara Croft over time. More like a de-evolution. Turner's comments suggested a version of Lara Croft shaped less by spectacle and more by interiority. That may resonate with newer audiences, but for longtime fans, Lara's confidence, athleticism, and sex appeal were never mutually exclusive traits. They were part of the same larger-than-life fantasy. Again, these people hate feminine beauty and they hate actual women, so that's why they got someone who's a little feminine, but I guarantee you they're like, oh yeah, that has that man physique in it too, because we got to appease the weirdos out there who want everyone to just be plain and generic and nothing, you know? As the Amazon series moves closer to release, the real question isn't whether Lara Croft can evolve. She always has. The question is whether this evolution feels like expansion or subtraction. That would be de-evolving, and that's what I would label it as, de-evolving. After having played the OG for the first time, 1 through 6, throughout the year or so, I can see where people really enjoyed the game, how it can be a classic for sure. And it was, it's a series that I tip my hat to. I wouldn't put it in my personal collection of series that I would return to time and time again, but it was good. And then the reboot, I liked the first one. Second one was good, and then this third one I was like, eh. So it went downhill. It ain't looking good though. When I think even Phoebe Waller-Bridge even said too, it's her version, who she thinks Lara Croft is, not what was established. She's going to be a cosplaying Karen, not Lara Croft. She won't be after a Lost Tombs treasure, but the manager. Oh, ouch. My goodness. Just put her in a burqa and be done with it. More modern garbage incorporated. Holy crap. They're wow, a lot of comments on this one. Just roasting. This was pretty obvious as soon as they cast Sophia Turner. She doesn't look even a little bit like Lara Croft. Yeah. Yeah. So amongst the two that I had featured in the stream's title, another person has passed away. Like I said earlier, this show has a lot of deaths, news covering it. Hideki Sato, designer of all Sega's console, has died. He passed away on the 15th. He has died at the age of 77. Japanese games outlet Beep21 reported that Sato passed away this weekend. Sato and his R&D team were responsible for the creation of the Sega's arcade and home console hardware, including the Master System, Genesis / Mega Drive, Saturn, and Dreamcast. Dang. And apparently there's an update, and this is a Sega statement. Sega has published a statement following news of Sato's passing. We are deeply saddened to learn of the passing of Hideki Sato, who served as president of Sega from 2001 to 2003. It said, Sega would like to offer its condolences to his family and friends. Starting his career with the development of arcade machines, Mr. Sato was instrumental in the development of iconic home consoles, including the SG-1000, SC-3000, Mega Drive, Sega Genesis, Sega Saturn, and Dreamcast. His leadership helped lay the foundation of Sega, and his contributions had a significant and lasting impact on the entire gaming industry. We will always remember his contribution to our company, and all of us at Sega extend our deepest condolences as we honor his memory. The engineer joined Sega in 1971 and was the company's acting president, like we just read, and then in 2008 he left. From the beginning, Sega's home console development has always been influenced by our arcade development. Sato previously told Famitsu in an interview covering Sega's history. Komanga says, I think we're at the cusp of Vogue entering in its final stages. Maybe. I like to think so, but I think if it does happen, I think I would be cautious still, because I think a lot of smoke and mirrors are really starting to happen as we're kind of ending towards that end time, and we need to be vigilant and be wary. You know, be wary of people by the fruit they produce, as the scripture says. So we're kind of getting a history here. Our first 8-bit machine was the SC-3000. This was a PC for beginner-level users. At the time, Sega only did arcade games, so this was our first challenge. We had no idea how many units we'd sell. Sato said of Mega Drive, Sega's most successful console. At that point, we decided to start developing a new home console. By then, arcade games were using 16-bit CPUs. Arcade development was something we were very invested in, so we were always using the most cutting-edge technology here. Naturally, it started us thinking, what if we use that technology in a home console? 2 years after we started development, it was done. A 16-bit CPU home console, the Mega Drive. The 68,000 chip had also recently come down in price, so the timing was perfect. On Dreamcast, the release that ultimately ended Sega's run in hardware, Sato, I keep interchanging Sato and Sato, said the keyword for the development was play and communication. The ultimate form of communication is a direct connection with another, and we included the modem and the leakable VMUs for that purpose, he said. We had also planned to have some sort of linking function with cell phones, but we weren't able to realize it. Consumers were now used to the raging bit wars, so even though we knew it was a lot of nonsense, we needed to appeal to them in those terms with the Dreamcast. And so we marketed it as having a 128-bit graphics engine RISC CPU. Even the SH4 was only 64 bits. And it says he laughed. On the other hand, we extensively customized the original SH4 for the Dreamcast to the point where I think you could almost call it something new. Oh yeah, apparently there was like some Pokemon trading card game and finals and stuff happening. The Hideki Sato, rest in peace, Sensei. You did the world a great service in the video game community. You want to know what not did a good service? That is apparently the God of War Sons of Sparta game that is just released. My boy Phoenix was playing it. And yeah, apparently it is the lowest rated Metacritic game in the series. Ouch. After so many rumors and speculations, a new God of War game is finally here. It isn't a AAA, and instead is a toned-down Metroidvania exploring Kratos' past. Unfortunately, the response to the title isn't as positive as one would think. And I feel like you could make a God of War Metroidvania game good, and yet they didn't. I wasn't impressed by the art style, to be honest. I didn't care so much. They needed to take it more like Symphony of the Night, more of that like retro art style. I didn't feel that. It had some retro style to it, but it wasn't in my face, which I wish it was. It's the lowest rated Metacritic game in the franchise. Apparently, it even sits below God of War Ascension, which is already which also didn't really have a universal positive response. God of War games are mostly associated with big budget and a massive scope. The game doesn't have either of those, so this is a step in a different direction, which isn't sitting well with the fans. So it is sitting at a user score of 7.4, which is the lowest in the franchise. Even this score isn't bad. It is just average, which is something you don't expect from arguably Sony's most popular franchise. The overall opinions on the game are quite mixed, with some praising it for expanding the franchise beyond just the mainline games, while others criticize it for being too bland, generic, and repetitive. So you got some images here. Some have even argued that if the God of War name wasn't associated with it, it would just be another game on the PlayStation Store. Even the series creator harshly called the project out, calling it nonsense. Yes, and we have that article pulled up. That would be David Jaffe, who unfortunately is a big piece of shit of a person. And while we can tip his hat for creating the God of War series, he is a scumbag douche. At least the saving grace is that Sony is also announcing a God of War Greek trilogy remake at the same state of play, so fans will be eating well as we have a show, the remakes, and a rumored mainline in-game development. Yeah, but who knows if they'll keep the remake untouched? That's the thing. That is the thing. And I don't know, for even David Jaffe to respond to it and kind of bash it, apparently, that's not a good sign. So, I mean, you can just see it right here. The fuck are they thinking? Sons of Sparta doesn't respect the license. Nobody wants Kratos to be just some generic fucking kid, David Jaffe says. Ouch. Announced as a surprise Shadow Drop release during a State of Play presentation last week, Sons of Sparta is a retro-style 2D action game developed by Megacat Studios in partnership with Santa Monica Studios. According to Santa Monica Studio, the game has a quote, a canon story set in Kratos' youth during his harsh training at the Ogage alongside his brother Deimos. However, David Jaffe, the original creator of God of War and director of the first game in the series, says he bought the game and doesn't recommend it. Partly because of its story and partly because it doesn't live up to other retro-style 2D games released in recent years. So in a 9-minute YouTube monologue about the game, he opens with, I bought this game. It's a $30 game. I don't like it. Don't recommend it. But I wanted to make a video about more about what were they thinking? Like, what the fuck were they thinking? Claiming he was told by a former Santa Monica studio member that the developer is more driven by story than gameplay in these days, Jaffe claims Sons of Sparta suffers from focusing too much on the plot. What I played, which was only about an hour of it, and I'll never go back to it, it's just like, get over yourselves, man, he said. It's like they just kept stopping over and over and having the characters just talk and talk and talk, and the voice acting is not very good. I heard that while watching Phoenix play. He added, I want you to think about the choices team had and Sony Santa Monica had. The idea of saying, hey, we want a 2.5D Metroidvania God of War game. Most gamers, core gamers, would say, oh my god, yes, please. The idea that it's like, and we don't want it to be the Kratos that you know and love from either 2018's God of War or the Greek trilogy God of War. Interesting in how he put the 2018's version first and then his version kind of later, almost like he's ashamed of it. Fuck it, the character is boring. Nobody likes the Kratos that we've built billions of dollars of franchises on. Let's make him just some generic fucking kid, like we're watching a fucking WB kids TV show or something. It makes no fucking sense. Arguing that fans would have rather played a game more like 2019's Metroidvania title Blasphemous, something extremely violent and bloody with the tone of early God of War game. Jaffe also argued that putting the story to the side, the overall game is less impressive than other 2D action games from recent centuries. Blasphemous, I just got done playing Bloodstained. I thought that was a good Metroidvania game. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's looks pretty dope. I'll have to check that out. Anywho, all right. The production quality isn't very good compared to what we got just this last year. He said, if you look at the gameplay variety and just the joy of playing a game like Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, if you look at the art and level and detail and just genius in your interesting scenarios at a moment-to-moment gameplay level of Neon Inferno. Hey, I played that demo, which also came out towards the end of last year, which is just an excellent shooter, by the way. I highly recommend it. If you, of course, look at the production value of Shinobi Art of Vengeance, I also have heard that one doing good. I mean, look at that thing. People wanted this production value, and they want this vibe, and they want it to be classic Kratos. Later, know the gameplay itself is serviceable. It's fine. I didn't really particularly enjoy it too much. Maybe it gets better. I'm sure it does. There's nothing offensive about it. The only thing offensive about it is its genericism, if that's a word. The only thing offensive about it is its inability to respect the license, the brand. It's like you get the John Wick license and you make a movie just about him sitting in a coffee shop and talking. He added, by the way, I don't need the big budgets. I would have loved bigger production value, smoother animations, this, that, and the other, but I don't need that, right? If the gameplay was interesting, if it was violent, if it had personality, if you opened immediately and the players were like, oh my God, I've never thought of that kind of mechanic in the game like this, or this is so fun, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we get his rambling, but why would you even put this out? All it does is leave a bad taste in God of War fans' mouth, in my assumption. And there you go. Yeah, we did a demo that was exclusive over on Rumble Premium of Neon Inferno, and that game was awesome. Shinobi, I heard, was really good as well. And then this Blasphemous game. Very interesting. I saw this over at Fandom Wire, and I just wanted to check it out real quick. DBZ Studio regrets abandoning a 2012 movie starring Goku voice actor Masako Nozawa, or Mazako Nozawa. Huh. Apparently, it should have shown more love in the 2012 Asura movie featuring Masako Nozawa. The movie was amazing, apparently. So she's one of the most recognizable voices in the anime industry, and the Dragon Ball series is not her only rodeo. She also voiced the main protagonist in the 2012 toy animation movie Asura. While the movie wasn't really the talk of the town back then, the studio has expressed regrets for abandoning it and the potential it had. Kind of like Jaffe before he went off his rails. I mean, I never looked into who made God of War. So I never really followed him until he was just being a douchebag on side scrollers, because I think he was a guest there. Not very long ago, an interview was released featuring Kozu Morishita, longtime creative force behind Dragon Ball and the current chairman of Toei Animation. Did I say Kozu? I meant Kozo. While he praised the studio's successful years creating worldwide sensation titles like Dragon Ball and the One Piece series, he also pointed to the 2012 CG animated film Asura as one project he wished had gone differently. Morishita admitted that while the movie was a technical and artistic achievement despite its incredibly low budget, its commercial failure was only part of the real disappointment. The movie is based on the 1970 controversial manga series by George Akiyama, featuring themes of cannibalism, along with several graphic and explicit scenes of violence, nudity, and torture. He went after Vara one time. Yeah, I mean he's a homo. Yeah. And starring Craig thinks he's a terrible father because of letting his kid go trans, which I do agree with. According to Morishita, he did not just serve as a producer for the CG movie, but also contributed storyboards and supervised the project closely, which resulted in the film winning the Excellence Award at the 16th Japanese Media Arts Festival. However, despite the award, it failed to make a dent in the box office. He also expressed that we shouldn't have just ended it after one film. We needed to treat it as an IP that could continue with several installments. Rather than abandoning the film and the concept after its commercial failure, the producer expressed how Toei Animation should have deeply analyzed the film or the failure and tried again. He further argued that halting development on the promising new property wastes not only financial investment but also creative potential. Okay, so yeah, they kind of used Masako Nozawa as kind of like a way to lure you into this article to talk about this other film. So apparently towards the end here, we just get a list of what she voiced beyond just Goku. Doraemon, Son Goku, Son Gohan, Son Goten, Gogeta, Son Goku Jr., Dr. Korea, Anga, Obaba, Furiro Senma, Draghi-kun, Taro Kabutsu, and Joe. Furthermore, ever since the beginning of the franchise, she also played the part of the narrator in Digimon Adventure series. Oh, that's cool. And then occasionally playing some Digimons like Golemon and Dukemon. Huh. Interesting. I don't know if I'm like that. Wow, that actually gives off like a PS2 vibe. I have a feeling this guy's the cannibal. It mentioned cannibal, and this guy's giving off cannibal vibes. But there you go. So another person that has passed away is Bloodstained, because I literally just played Rituals of the Night. Bloodstained, the Scarlet Engagement creator director Shutaro Iida dies at 52. Wait a minute, they got rid of the what? Ah, this is what I get for going off of Video Game Chronicle. They put 2 eyes in his name. Disrespectful. And here I am with my title also disrespecting. Well, we'll just fix that right now. I thought that looked weird to begin with, too. I knew it. I should always go with my gut instinct because it's never really has failed me. Can't say it's always like it's never have. Don't say ever, but you know, for the most part, it's always been quite true. And all right, well, the only one that well, I guess I could up. Can I update my? Oh, I can. Here we go. Over on X, kabam. There we go. Durbert. All right. Apologies there, Shutaro Iida. So, developer Art Player has announced Shutaro Iida, creative director on the forthcoming Bloodstain the Sacred, or the Scarlet Engagement, has passed away after a long battle with cancer. Dang. Iida passed away on February 10th at the age of 52 after more than a year battling his illness. He worked with Igarashi for decades, from the Game Boy Advance Castlevania games till now. Dang. Shutaro has contributed significantly to the development of the gaming industry through the creation of numerous works. Artplay co-founder Koji Igarashi said in a statement, "His passing is deeply regrettable, especially given the great promise of his future endeavors." And here's the full message from Igarashi. Early morning on Tuesday, February 10th, 2026, our creative director, Shutaro, passed away at the age of 52 after battling against cancer for approximately 1.5 years. And then we just read this one here. We've read that. The funeral was conducted only with close family members in accordance with the wishes of the bereaved family. The development of Bloodstain, the Scarlet Engagement, which Shutaro was leading, is now at its final stages. We will carry forward its legacy, strive with all our strength to complete this work worthy of his vision and name. We must respectfully decline any condolence visits, monetary gifts, floral tributes, or sympathy visiting to our company or his family. We deeply appreciate your understanding in this matter. And then Video Game Chronicle also has some information as well regarding that. Apparently, a statement from Iida's family was posted on his official X console. Well, now they're okay. Now they're saying it's with 2 eyes. Okay. Time to solve this once and for all. It is with 2 eyes. I was right the first time. Dang it. What the frick? Well, egg on my face, I guess. So technically, Niche Gamer got it wrong. Oh, well, whatever. We all are but human. Okay. Anyway, going back here. Oh, okay. So the cancer was pancreatic cancer. That's unfortunate. A statement from Iida's family was posted on his official X account confirming his death. Shutaro, known as the Curry Sage, who had been battling illness for some time, has passed away due to pancreatic cancer. We deeply appreciate the kindness shown to him during his lifetime and respectfully announce his passing. Shutaro's adventure in this world has ended, but his work lives on. We sincerely hope you will continue to enjoy the games he created. In his final personal message posted on his X account 11 days before his passing, Iida wrote, "It seems that the limit is near. I can feel myself growing weaker day by day. Please love Bloodstain 2, which will be released in the future in the games that I made." Iida worked at Konami from 1996 to 2015, mainly as a programmer at first. In the early 2000s, he moved to the Castlevania series, working as enemy programmer and system and player programmer on the Game Boy Advance title Castlevania Area of Sorrow. He went on working as a programmer on numerous other Castlevania games, as well as Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zero and Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain, where he was lead game programmer and lead enemy programmer. So when Castlevania series producer Koji Igarashi left Konami in 2014 to co-found his new studio Artplay, Iida joined him to work on Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, which I just played. Really good game, where he served as designer and director while Igarashi produced. The game was released in 2019 to favorable reviews. The prequel Bloodstained the Scarlet Engagement was previously announced for a 2026 release window. And in a statement on X, Igarashi paid tribute to his longtime colleague. We've read that already. We had worked together since Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow. It is no exaggeration to say that many titles hailed as masterpieces would not have been possible without his contribution. His talent was truly exceptional. After I left the Castlevania series, our opportunities to work together became fewer, but I'm deeply grateful that he accepted my invitation to join our current company, without hesitation. I feel the success of Bloodstained Ritual of the Night was also made possible thanks to his tremendous support. Looking back, he supported me for over 20 years. He was someone who constantly thought about games approaching development with a passion that burned like a flame. In September of 2024, we learned that he had terminal cancer. The news was a tremendous shock. The nearly year-and-a-half battle that followed must have been unimaginably grueling. His passing is profoundly saddening. Though now he is knowing he is now free from suffering brings a sense of relief, having run at full speed for so long. I hope he can finally rest peacefully now. The game he was working on, Bloodstained, The Scarlet Engagement, is currently in development. It is a precious work imbued with his spirit. We will carry on his vision and see it through completion, so we won't be disappointed. We ask for your continued support and encouragement now more than ever. Our thoughts are with his family, and we pray for his eternal rest. Indeed. Well, rest in peace, Shutaro Iida. And sadly, over in the U.S., Robert Duvall has also passed away. 95. Wow, what a legacy. Career that spanned more than 6 decades and helped define the very fabric of modern American cinema. He was 95. Few actors could command the screen with quite authority Duvall possessed. He never needed spectacle, never needed excess. With a glance, a pause, or a measured line delivery, he could dominate a scene opposite the biggest stars in the world, and often did. His passing marks the end of an era, one built not on celebrity, but on craft. So he was born in San Diego, California, raised in a military family, an upbringing that would later inform many of his most disciplined, commanding performances. After studying acting at the neighborhood Playhouse School of the Theater in New York, alongside contemporaries like Dustin Hoffman and Gene Hackman, he honed his skills on stage and television before making the leap to film, and what a leap it was. That's when I remember that being pointed out to me. He was Boo Radley in To Kill a Mockingbird. And Boo is silent, but I mean, just the time he has, his facial feature, everything, extremely powerful. His physical performance left an undeniable impression. And then Tom Hagen in The Godfather Part 2, introduced audience to one of the most quietly formidable consigliers characters ever put on film, acting opposite of Marlon Brando, Al Pacino. Duvall held his ground, calm, calculating, and utterly believable. Apocalypse Now, Lieutenant Colonel Bill Kilgore. He's the one that said, "I love the smell of napalm in the morning." Earned him an Academy Award nomination and became a cultural touchstone, equal parts surreal, menacing, and darkly charismatic. He moved seamlessly between military leaders, lawmen, villains, mentors, and everyday workmen. Whether in The Great Santini, The Natural, The Lonesome Dove, he brought authentically that made every character feel lived in, especially as the chief in Falling Down. That movie is a goodie. Who won Academy Award for Best Actor for his role as washed-up country singer Max Sledge in Tender Mercy. It's quite a film. It's character study, no bombast, no theatrics. And then he would go on to earn 6 additional Oscar nominations across the career. His career, along with Golden Globes, Emmys, and a BAFTA, but awards never defined him, work did. He belonged to a generation of actors who approached filmmaking like a profession, not a platform. He rarely courted headlines, rarely engaged in political grandstanding, rarely sought the spotlight off screen. Directors loved him because he elevated material. Co-stars respected him because he made them better, and audience trusted him because he never phoned it in. Even later in his career, Duvall continued delivering powerful scenes like an open-range secondhand lines to the judge, proving that age had done nothing to dull his presence. If anything, it deepened it too. He was also the police guy in John Q, starring Daniel Washington. Duvall often portrayed men of principle, flawed, yes, but guided by duty, honor, or personal codes. Ranchers, soldiers, sheriffs, fathers. He embodied a form of grounded masculinity Hollywood once specialized in, but has increasingly drifted away from in recent years. I agree. There was a grit to his characters, whether on their faces, weight in their decisions. He didn't play superheroes, he played men. And in doing so, he became larger than life. In an industry that often rewards excess, he proved minimalism could be more powerful than monologues. He mastered restraint. His performances are still studied in acting schools today for their controlled timing. And emotional economy. You believed him because he believed the character. That's a rare gift. His death closes the book on one of the most distinguished acting careers in film history. Indeed. Hollywood today often feels like it's chasing spectacle over substance. Duvall represented the opposite, and that's precisely why his loss feels so profound. Robert Duvall is survived by his wife, Luciana Pedraza, and a legacy that will live on through generations of film lovers. His performances remain required viewing, not just for entertainment, but for education in the craft itself. In an age increasingly defined by noise, Robert Duvall's greatness came from quiet mastery, and that silence now feels a little heavy. So there was a good article. I skipped some stuff just to speed up for time's sake, but really good written article. Let's not end on all these negative stuff here. So, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin creator shares update on live action adaptation. Comes from Fandom Pulse. So, Kevin Eastman and Tom Waltz, the creators of The Last Ronin, shared an update on the film's status after it was reportedly shelved back in November. Now, I recently just heard something that one of a lot of stuff that the Turtles fans were disappointed is they asked the OG actress from the first live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, April O'Neil, that if they did do a live action, that if she would play April O'Neil again, but alas. So the film was going to be an adaptation of the 5-issue comic book series that was published between 2020 and 2022. And we kind of get a rundown of how it works. Post-apocalyptic New York City, run by Oroku Hiroto, the grandson of the Shredder and son of Kairai. Or Kairai, maybe, or Kaira. Because technically, like Kai, that would be Kairai. A lone turtle who's haunted by the death of his brothers works to put an end to the Hiroto despotic rule. The lone turtle is eventually revealed to be, spoiler alert, let's see. Back in November, Broy's Kit at The Hollywood Reporter claimed that The Last Ronin film project was being put back in the pizza box, according to sources. He noted that the new Paramount Skydance leadership wasn't keen on having the first non-animated movie in 10 years. Yeah, this is what I heard, being a bloody adult skewing story. However, he did note that one insider says the studio wants to leave the door open to possibly revisit it down the road. Instead, producer Neil H. Moritz was given the green light to create a new TMNT live-action film to jumpstart the franchise. So now in an interview with Entertainment Weekly, Eastman and Waltz shared that the film is not dead. Eastman shared, "I don't think the movie's off the table. I think it's just delayed." Speaking with all the folks at Viacom and Paramount and Nickelodeon, who love the Turtles and really have done a fantastic job, whether it be the 2012 series to Mutant Mayhem. I don't think it will not happen, he added. I don't know. I think with Rogan getting his filthy mitts in the franchise, it kind of got hurt. I think it will happen. One of the things that anybody I've talked to at the companies, they know the fans love and support all things Last Ronin as much as another group of fans love everything Point Grey Pictures production company. Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg and everybody has done with the whole Mutant Mayhem series. We're not disheartened at all. As for Waltz, he said it kind of goes back to timing. Let's say if the movie happened now and Training Day hasn't happened yet, we won't be like George R.R. Martin where the other media is ahead of us, so we can tell this complete story now. Have it done. Training Day is better because of the experience we've already had, so now I think the movie can only be better because now there's more data, he explained. It's more to choose from. Maybe you can put that Training Day sequence into the movie. It wouldn't have existed before, or it wouldn't have been ours. However, he did note that the economy is playing a big factor of whether the film eventually gets made. This big macro level for these big businesses, I think they're kind of waiting to see too which way the tide goes. Nevertheless, he's optimistic. But I'm always an optimist, and I think things will start to improve, and I think that's when things start to move. But I just look at it as if we get a chance to control what we control, which is the comic and the core story, and then the movie just that much better for it. So I have The Last Ronin. I got to read it. So I don't know what he was talking about training days. But apparently, okay, so according to this, Last Ronin, Lost Years, and Last Ronin Re-Evolution. Interesting. Fear Effect 2, limited. As much as I hate limited run games, has announced a release date for their Fear Effect 2 Retro Helix re-release. Windows PC, that'd be Steam, Switch, PS4, PS5, February 27th. Originally released for the original PlayStation 2001 by Kronos Digital Entertainment and produced by Eidos Interactive, the prequel to Fear Effect has never been ported to modern platforms since. So you got a rundown here. Oh, I thought they would have a trailer because I wanted to. I guess the trailer could be right here. Here's the trailer. I've heard of this game, but I don't know. They have it at a PlayStation. Then might be able to snag it, and maybe, if it gets censored or anything, uncensored it.
Jin promised me it's gonna pan out royally for all of
That is definitely PlayStation, that is for sure. This is Fear Effect 2. Actually, it looks quite interesting. Boobs. I just hate limited run games. I wish they would get other stuff too. But yeah, if you're a fan of Fear Effect 2, check it out. And last but not least, this actually looks pretty cool. This 3D pixel robot action mystery game, Gun Nose. Indie developer Addie Valentine has announced Gun Nose, a handcrafted 3D pixel art action mystery game with a robot detective protagonist. So let's see. It's in development for Windows PC with plans for console. If it's already successfully Kickstarter campaign hits more stretch goals. Should the game reach a few more of its stretch goals, it will get ports for the Xbox, Switch 2, and PlayStation console. So it's a top-down action mystery game set in the handcrafted pixel art city of Ironwood. Play as the title hero, Gun Nose, a robot detective with a mysterious past and a face that can kill. You're on a mission to track down your missing creator by investigating a string of violent murderers. Culprit, a group of serial murder bots disguised among the population. Each case in the main story takes you deeper in the overgrown layers of the city. Cases are semi-procedural, featuring different victims, suspects, clues, and murders each playthrough. Oh, wow. That's interesting. So it's not the same every time. I wonder if there's a limit, though. To crack the case, you'll need to interrogate suspects, analyze evidence, and identify the killer's unique signature. This isn't just some cozy walking sim. It's dangerous, and your suspects won't go down without a fight. Combat is real-time and chaotic. As you close in on the truth, suspects may lash out with psychic hacks that summon ghost-like electrical projections designed to tear you apart. Luckily, you're not alone with your quirky AI companion, the Jiminy Drive, like Jiminy Glick. In a cast of unlikely allies, you'll set traps, unlock secrets, and confront a growing conspiracy that lies at the heart of the city. Very cool. Here's the trailer. Oh no. Still looks, yeah, there you go. Like, this is kind of what I was thinking that, like, kind of God of War Sons of Sparta game could be. You could maybe tone down the... You know how in certain like sprites there's like certain levels of like the ratio they use, like 12 by 12, 16 by 16 and all that stuff. And then some sprite art is like very detailed. I like the one that's kind of in the middle. Like this looks pretty cool. Oh wow. Looks like a whale. A whale of a whale. No, that guy's hair. She's a bomb. He's bleeding. Heal him quick. And I wonder if this will get copyright struck because of the music. I don't exactly know. Maybe it's original though. But there you go, gun noise. It actually looks pretty cool. So if that's your cup of tea, check it out. All right, that's all I had for you guys tonight. Hope you enjoyed the show. Take care and God bless. Tomorrow we will try to do Mega Man 2X again. Hopefully we'll have more stable connections. But if you like what you saw, feel free to hit that like and subscribe button. But with that being said, I will catch you guys on the flip side. You have a good night. Take care. God bless. See ya, Komanga. And peace. Adios.